Hi, my October 14th birthday babies. Come on in because this video is all about you. Today, from the Secret Language of Birthdays book, I'm going to be sharing with you the personality profile for people born on your birthday. And if you stick around till the end, I'm going to give you advice specifically from the book for people born on your birthday. So, let's get into it. All right. So October... October is really hard. The word is really hard for me to say right now because I have braces and just the motions your mouth has to make in order to say that word kind of gets me tongue-tied. So October 14th is the day of moderation. Moderation is a recurrent theme in the lives of October 14th people. This is not to say that they are boring or even conservative people, but that they navigate a path between the pitfalls of excessive behavior, and it is indeed a great challenge. When those born on this day stray far from the straight and narrow, they most often court disaster. However, it is through such mistakes that they grow and learn to turn things to their advantage in the future. In a sense, October 14th people are in a bind. They are best suited for a moderate life, but if finely balanced and moderate in all things, can deprive themselves of not only failure and emotional lows, but also some of the ecstatic highs life has to offer. More highly evolved October 14th persons display a great deal of composure and reserve. Taking time in everything they do is extremely important to them, and thus they hate to be rushed. Verbal faculty is rarely their forte, so it may be through the use of visual images, the written word, music, or perhaps leadership and personal example that they can express themselves. The communication of knowledge, critiquing of others' work, and commenting on life in general are important outlets for their highly developed mental side. Those born on this day are less often physically oriented, and their physical nature or talents may lie dormant or at least make little initial impression. Discovering an awakened sexuality, having children, suffering a serious accident or illness, or falling in love with a sport can bring these mental individuals down into their bodies in a kind of second incarnation. October 14th people tend to rule the roost, but rarely in an aggressive or overt way, more often working behind the scenes as the power behind the throne. They are not overly attached to physical objects and material concerns, but their home itself is very important to them, often doubling as a workplace. In their personal life, they can be quite content with a monogamous relationship, but must beware of the twin pitfalls of isolation and subservience to a more dominant personality, particularly true of women. October 14th people are capable of leading or lending great stability to the lives of their family, friends, colleagues, and social group. They enjoy being part of the show, the theater of life, but more often function as managers rather than stars. It is an interesting paradox that though, as mentioned above, October 14th people can be somewhat static personalities, the theme of travel so often figures prominently in their lives. Those born on this day rarely spend their adult years where they grew up. For the more highly evolved October 14th people, life's travels not only signify physical movement, but are symbolic of a freedom of spirit because of their stable and balanced traits. Too many born on this day tend to be complacent and stagnate. They must try to keep busy and set themselves high standards and monthly or yearly goals which must be met. Okay, so that's kind of a lot to digest there. I'm really curious to know what struck a chord with you. Without overanalyzing, without thinking about it too much, leave me a comment below what struck a chord with you, either as a really positive quality or as something you want to change. Now, for me as a reader, one of the things that really came up was this sentence here about they enjoy being part of the show, the theater of life, but more often function as managers rather than stars. And now this is not going to resonate with all of you, and it's okay if it doesn't. The point still, I'm still able to illustrate my point, which is something that's really important. The older we get, is to really know your place in the theater of life. I think the internet and just the kind of blowing up of social media has caused everyone to think that they're a star. And I think what's going to happen, what has to happen is people will get burnt out doing things that they are not meant to do. And this isn't to discourage anyone from getting in front of the camera. It's to more to inspire people to move towards those things that when they do and they give to others by doing it, they are also getting something in return, right? Even like the managers. The managers know that they're the managers. There are managers behind, all the major celebrities and the athletes out here, and they're fine, and they enjoy being in that place. All I'm saying is that find your purpose. And if you want to know some techniques, because I've tried many spiritual paths, I've tried many indigenous healing modalities that I'd love to share with you guys if you're interested. It's really important that you find your path. Another reason, and I won't go too into depth on this, is because when you're just fucking around, you know that you're just fucking around. It feels really good to know what it is you're supposed to be doing, so that when you're not doing it, at least you know that you're not doing it. I've done it for many years. I knew what my path was, and you probably know what your purpose is, because you do it without anyone having to tell you. You do it without getting monetary compensation. You do it without getting likes. You do it without getting views. You do it because you need to do it. And by doing it, you receive, right? You get something in return. So clearly I'm very passionate about this. If you want to know more, I would love to share. Now let me give you a little advice, because that was my own 2 cents there. This is advice for you from the book. Push yourself a bit to produce. Don't hide all that good stuff away for too long. Share it with the world at large. Have fun surprising others. Dare to fail. You see that? This is a great time for you. It's telling you to produce, to don't hide all that good stuff, share it with the world. And now remember what it said up here. It said verbal faculty is rarely their forte. So it makes sense. You may not be able to be the star, because you can't just get in front of the camera and perform without your voice. You can. I'm really, I'm into performance art, but especially nowadays with people just being able to skip to the next video, I'm really curious how far, performance art is going to go. When people had to show up to see it, they were kind of forced to stay in there and be uncomfortable. Now people don't let themselves be uncomfortable. They just, like I said, skip and go on to the next thing. But it says that you may be able to use visual images, the written word, music, leadership, and personal example to communicate knowledge, critique of others' work, commenting on life. Hello, that's what social media is. Communication of knowledge, critiquing of others' work, and commenting on life. So clearly this is a great time for you, and you don't always have to use your verbal acuity. If you don't have it, you can use images, you can make comics, little. There's always been those political comics and images, especially right now. I think images are so important because people are kind of skipping the reading part and going straight for the infographics and the photos and the videos. So again, you've got so much there that you can digest. Let me know what you want me to go into a little further. And if you're watching this on your actual birthday, cheers to you. Happy birthday. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.